Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk about a new MMORPG called Valar. As you know, I'm a really big fan of MMORPGs, so that's why I need to talk about all the new MMORPGs I can find. Valar is a new sandbox MMORPG with a gathering, crafting and combat skills that are extremely well designed and varied enough so that everybody can find his role in the world. The first thing we have to talk about is that the game is of course going to have different races, different, I would say, classes. The game is actually classless. That means you can pick whichever race you want, but then every race can be whichever class they want, and you can change all the time in the game. So if you want to be a berserker, if you want to be something else, you can just choose it when you want. But of course you will have different experience points depending on, of course, if you go with, let's say you're going with the berserker or the pyromancer or the warrior, then of course you will get experience points in that class. Or it's actually called archetypes because the word class would be wrong because that's normally referred to something else. But the archetypes, the one you choose will be the one that you actually have as a bit. But if you just want to someday, like, I don't want to be a berserker anymore, now I want to be a druid, then you can be the druid and you can change all that. But of course you will have to re-level the archetype again. Beside that, the game is also going to have PvE. It's going to have something called camps. So in the big open world, suddenly you can find a camp that is established itself, and it could be by humanoids, it could be monsters, and that's like one of the open world fun in the game, that sometimes you just find a camp with enemies that just has been built, and it's a really good grinding spot. Beside that, it's also going to have instance-based dungeons and raids. So the dungeon raid is only made for you. Nothing like other games where you can just go in and kill the people who's in the raid or dungeon. It's going to be instance-based raid and dungeon just for your group. And of course, these content here with instance-based dungeon and raids is going to be a thing that is going to be designed for level ranges of 5 to 100. So they already kind of confirmed that the level is going to be, well, maximum level at the moment, what I can see in the website, is level 100. And they said the dungeon and raids is going to be something that they're trying to design from level 5 to 100. So no matter what level you are, it's going to be fun and they will have something thrilling for you. But it's also quite normal that MMORPGs has, you can say, level or dungeons in low level. I must say that I haven't seen before a MMORPG having a raid for low levels. I mean, that would be pretty cool. They probably will be the first game ever make that, if that's how I should understand it. But again, the game is going to have camps, open world camps, dungeon, raids, world bosses. And they're going to have world bosses in open world that is going to be the most dangerous enemies. Well, not probably the most, but some of the really most dangerous enemies, while probably you have to be a lot of people. Beside that, the game is also going to have PvP, and it's going to have something called Lawless Area, where certain parts of the world do not follow Valar's law in these areas. PvP is enabled by default. Everything you have equipped is dropped on death, as well as your inventory, so make sure you bring things you can afford to lose. So stuff like that. I mean, that is actually something that I can match with other MMORPGs that also have this, but it's cool they only have it in some lawless areas. I just kind of personally hope it's not going to be the whole world as other MMORPGs have, so you kind of feel like you're forced to, no matter what, always be prepared to lose your gear. Beside of that, they're also going to have PvP factions. That is something that is that's still in design, but it will come out when they actually talk about it. But it's also going to have some kind of a PvP factions. They're also going to have instance PvP. Whether you just want to relax or play competitive, Arena is a good thing for that, supporting 1 vs 1, 2 vs 2, 3 vs 3, and 5 vs 5. They let you create a team and compete against other players, monthly leaderboards and cosmetic rewards for the best team. Sounds really cool. I like it. I mean, one of the things that I like with, for example, MMOs like World of Warcraft is that they had an arena system. I really just, if I have a new MMORPG I'm going to play, my demand today is that I want an arena system. I want 1 vs 1 or 2 vs 2 or 3 vs 3. One of these things, I want them in a new MMORPG. That's like a criteria for me in a new MMORPG. Beside that, a thing that MMORPGs doesn't really need, but a thing that I think is really cool that MMORPGs has, it's not a needed thing, but it's cool when they have it, is actually open world, it's actually housing. And the cool thing with this game is that they're actually going to have housing in open world, and they're also going to have instanced housing. So for example, open world could be guild territories. Guild can capture land pieces and build their own bases on it. Guilds can decide to fully live there if they want. They will access storage and as well crafting stations. You can also get guild halls. Guilds can buy their own guild halls in cities to show how powerful they are to everybody. Guilds can be used for storage, promoting the guild, and setting up guild shops. Also, there's going to be player houses. Players can buy their own piece of land in cities as well in the wild, allowing you to have really own spot in Valar. This can be used for storage, player shop, and decorating. Things like that is actually quite, you can say, it can be dangerous to have open world player housing, because I remember old games where they actually had player housing where it just, there were so many people in the game, so no one was actually able to get their own land. And if the game allowed people to build their own houses wherever they want, you can end up like you have houses everywhere in the game, and it just feels like a ghetto you're running around in. But it's also going to have instanced housing. Players' private instance and guild instance unlock an area of your choice and decorate it, build houses and arenas and whatever you have in mind. Decorate the area as you wish. So it's actually also allowing you to have some kind of an instance housing, player housing, guild housing, where you can just teleport in and do whatever you want in that sense. The advanced housing system allows the full freedom on what you can do, which to unlock props and building, host events with your friends and guild, duel tournaments, wave of enemies, and so on. None of what you do in instance housing will reward you with anything. It is purely for fun. So basically what I see the instance housing in, well, for both players and guild, it actually sounds like a fun mode, like a, yeah, you can do whatever you want in there. You can create your own dungeon, create your own arena, do whatever you want. You could just have really fun in there. It sounds pretty cool. I mean, what's not to like? So that is pretty much all the highlights of Valar, that they're going to have this, well, PvE, PvP, housing, classless system. But now when we talk about the classes, let's talk about what classes we actually have in the game, well, also called archetypes. I'm sorry saying the word class, I'm just so used to say the word class, but it's actually, well, as they actually say, Valar has no class system. You only pick a race upon character creation. Every character starts with every basic skills, and you progress through them as you use them. So all the archetypes you can choose in the game is, the first one is called Berserker, and introduced by the Mandrake, the Berserker archetype is pure form of physical strength. Then we also have the Pyromancer, and I mean, there's no description of the Pyromancer yet, but Pyromancer sounds like someone who likes to throw with fire. Yeah. We also have the Warrior, and I mean, everyone knows what a Warrior is. We also have the Oracle, we have an Assassin, we have a Brawler, a Druid, an Archer, an Occultist, a Shaman, Alchemist, Paladin, Blood Mage, Priest, Thunderweaver. That is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 classes, well, sorry, archetypes is going to be in this game. That is pretty impressive. Well, so really, I mean, for the developers making this game, well, hands down, man, that is a lot of archetypes to have to balance and create for this game. Personally, I'm probably going to stick with the Druid and Shaman. I'm a nature freak, so I love Druids or Shamans. That's like the only thing I'm going to play this game in, is Druid or Shaman. Give me it, I love it. Beside of that, we also have gathering and crafting in the game. And well, some of the details they have is that, for example, for gathering, Valar is rich in resources coming from all kinds of different places, some rare than others, and some harder to access than others. Resources can be obtained from both nodes and killing the right creatures in NPCs. Certain resources can be used as is, and some others need to be refined as at a refining table. Each biome area in Valar has its own set of resources, meaning that the resource transportation is mandatory for proper resource distribution all around the world. Resource transportation is not without risk. In most cases, when crossing a part of the world, you will have to go through one or more lawless areas, in which you will lose everything you have upon death. Plan it well, use the right mount, and possibly ask a friend to escort you or hire player mercenaries. Player mercenaries, that sounds pretty cool. So they are kind of using one of the things that other MMORPGs also doing, where you have to like transport things through a map where you have like risk of getting attacked in this map. So if you really have something that is valuable, you need some escort. But it sounds cool that you're able to hire player mercenaries, so you can be some kind of a mercenary, and you know, you can hire yourself out. Crafting in this game. By using various resources obtained from different gathering professions, Valar inhabitants are able to provide some of the best items in the game. The quality and success rate of the item will be based on their current experience crafting it. Every time a certain item is crafted, it will increase your experience at crafting both this item, sword, potions, axes, heavy armor, keys, and so on. And this specific item. The higher the craft experience is at crafting this item and its type, the better the item will be. A lot of recipes are unlocked by default for all crafters' crafting skills, but most of them will be impossible to craft as a beginner. You will need to craft a lot of items from the same type to increase your global item crafting success. And you will have to craft this specific item to get better at it. On top of this, on top of this, there are also many recipes to find in the world, and not all of them can be traded or bought. Some have to be found. So that's actually going to be soulbound in this game, so you're not able to sell anything in the game. That's cool. So we're going to have different professions in the game. We're going to have armor making, weapon making, leatherworking, necromancy, refining, trapping, locksmithing, alchemy, jewelry, engineering, mining, and herbalism. So that's pretty cool. That's a lot of crafting. Personally, I'm a guy who never crafts, so I'm not into crafting. That is not something for me. So for the crafting part, I will definitely skip that part. But I'm definitely going to be a raid and PvPer. I love doing raid and PvE. I hope I still can get okay gear in the game without crafting. But let's see, the game is still in pre-alpha. I actually got a pre-alpha key, so I will be able to play the game when the servers go online. And I heard there's some rumors that the next playtest is going to be end of March, so it's going to be end of this month. And I'm not 100% sure how long the beta this pre-alpha this time the servers will be online. I will wait for the developers to actually answer that thing. But also the game is right now, of course, in pre-alpha. That means the game is right now working on it, they are building it, but also it's a crowdfunding game, so that means they actually want people to help them. So if this is something that you feel like is interesting and you really want to see success, you can now go in and buy 4 different packages, one for $10, $15, $25, or even $15. It's all up to you if you want to go in and buy. This video is not sponsored by Valar. I'm simply just interested in MMORPGs. So I went in, I found this game, and I talked about it because I like MMORPGs. So everyone, thanks for watching. Leave down a comment, let me know what you think about this game. I'm very keen to know, are you also a bit hyped as I am? I mean, the game is still in pre-alpha, so of course there's going to be a bit time before the game releases, but this is something that is cool to read about, something that is cool to like know about, and then you can always just wait until the game will be more in success and release on a later date. So again, everyone, thanks for watching. Leave down a comment, let me know what you think about this game. Also, just so you know it, I will leave down a link to the website for the guild. Well, not sorry for the guild, for the game. 2 words with G. I will leave down a website for the game down below. Also, I will leave a link to the Discord server for the game itself. The developer who's working on this game is really keen to stay in touch with all the gamers that is interested in this game. He likes to chat with them, he likes to get suggestions, and he likes to post updates on the Discord server. So join the Discord of this game if you want. I've already been in contact with him, and he's a nice guy. I assume he's a guy, and go in, support the game if you want. But again, this video is not sponsored. I simply just love MMORPGs, and this game looked great. So what can I do? I always just talk about MMORPGs. Again, thanks for watching everyone. Leave down a comment, let me know what you think, and see you in the next episode. Peace out.